Good Wednesday morning, everybody, and welcome to Mile High Living. I'm Gina Bellich. Well, in the last 20 years, disability from back and neck pain has increased by 54%. Annual healthcare costs associated with back pain exceeds $50 billion. There we go. Now, these costs rise to more than $100 billion when you include lost wages and decreased productivity. Now, if you're part of the 80% of the population suffering from back pain, guess what? Our first guest, Dr. Pinto, has some advice that could put your life back on track, and we welcome Dr. Pinto. Thanks for, I'm sorry, billions and millions. You wouldn't think it'd be that high.
It's just a few zeros.
It's just a few zeros. You get it all mixed up. Let's go back and talk really about the fact you've been doing this for over 30 years. This is something you know a lot about. Sure. Talk about some of the new insights into what you do that might be able to help our viewers.
Absolutely. I mean, 3 decades ago, it was simple. Injuries and recovery times and stress were considerably faster and simpler back then. Today's types of injuries and stress levels require a much higher degree of technology. And as many times as I've been on talking to you over this last year, I think that everybody knows this stuff, and then yet we get phone calls after the show and they're like, I've never heard this before, so I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some of the typical complaints that you do hear from a lot of people.
Right. Well, I wish there was typical, because that would make my job easy. The days of simple neck and low back pain have given way to severe, debilitating neck pain, chronic migraines, sciatica, low back pain, which prevent people from working, taking care of their kids, and doing the fun things in life. So it just requires a higher level of meticulous care.
The testimonials you have from people are really remarkable. We're going to go ahead and listen to a few of them.
Sure.
I was having severe acute intermittent pain, like a 10-inch needle being shoved into my lower back.
It was just a pinching. I had it running through my leg all the way to my toes.
I woke up one morning and I literally couldn't move. I couldn't get off the floor.
It was debilitating at moments.
Even now I have a 6-month-old. I couldn't lift her.
I couldn't move my hand. Everything was numb. I was out of work.
I did physical therapy, even surgery.
I tried acupuncture, a few other things. It just wasn't working. And so I called Dr. Pinto. Everybody knows he's the best in the business. And I'm like, help.
I loved immediately how he didn't do anything until he took an x-ray. He wanted to know what was going on.
His initial was, come bring me the MRIs and then we'll see if you're a candidate for the treatment. And I was.
In just a few short weeks, I can function again. I'm back to adjusting patients and functioning as a mother, because that's the biggest job that there is.
I feel very fortunate that if you work hard and follow the program, it works.
It's just made my whole life better.
I would absolutely recommend Dr. Pinto and his team. They're amazing. The staff is great.
Everything he does is to make you better.
I would recommend him to anybody. And I believe wholeheartedly in the system.
Dr. Pinto is the chiropractor's chiropractor.
The chiropractor's chiropractor. I just love what that says. It's also, people are really driven by pain, and boy, when that comes up, they don't waste a lot of time. Hopefully, if you feel it all of a sudden, or if you've had it for a long time. So talk about how you diagnose the problem.
Well, diagnosing the problem, we take a complete history, we do a thorough examination, we'll do some high-end digital x-rays, and then if necessary, we'll order an MRI. What we find is that most of the problems people have come from disc injuries in their back or neck. Herniations and bulges, which put pressure on the nerves, which cause more than just a little discomfort. It causes severe debilitating pain. So what we do is we go over the results of the findings with the patient, give them our best recommendations as to how we can help them.
Talk also a little bit about what people have tried before they actually come and see you. I'm assuming that a lot of people, when they think, oh, this is no big deal, before they actually want to go see someone.
Well, it's too easy to pop a pill, and you can buy a whole bottle of Tylenol for a few bucks at Costco. So, taking the over-the-counter medications, sometimes more powerful painkillers. Many patients have resorted to epidural steroids, which, albeit they're not really FDA approved for back pain, they're used a lot, and they can sometimes produce temporary relief. And sometimes people are offered surgery where they might have to have some of their spine fused, which obviously has its risks.
Well, you also have a non-surgical spinal decompression device, right? The DRX 9000.
Correct.
Talk about that and why you use it.
Well, it's really neat. It's been around for almost 20 years. And what it does is it causes intermittent axial decompression, traction on the specific disc involved. And what that does, it creates a negative pressure. Typically, treatments take about 30 minutes. And that negative pressure does a few things. From the patient standpoint, it feels great. It's usually people get off the table and they go, that's exactly what I felt like I needed. But it also creates that negative pressure, and it helps to migrate the disc back toward the center, leaving a healthier condition. And at the end, patients that transition to maintenance care, they can come in periodically to maintain their cells at a much higher level for as long as they want. The procedures that we use are considerably safer than the traditional approaches, as well as being a lot more time and cost effective.
Well, you've got a great special for our viewers out there. Tell them what it's all about.
Sure. I mean, basically, if you've got pain, give us a call. Today's your day. Bring in any previous X-rays or MRIs that you have. We'll check you over, and we'll give you our honest opinion. A famous doctor that I knew years ago said that procrastination is the thief of health. You put off doing things today that you know you should do until it becomes major. And I'm all for taking care of people when they're in bad shape, but that's not my favorite. I'm good at it, but it's not my favorite. I'd rather see people proactively when things are just starting to go bad, because the treatment time is considerably less.
Well, no one likes being in pain, and no one likes seeing people in pain, that's for sure. But if you can help them, I know you will. Dr. Pinto, we really do appreciate you coming in here, always sharing your advice and your thoughts on what needs to be done.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you so very much. All right, right now you can call 720-485-6894 for your free consultation at Pinto Chiropractic. Now, that's worth $325. If you're a candidate for treatment and are accepted for care, you'll receive $250 off your treatment plan. This is only for the first 20 callers, though, so go ahead and call 720-485-6894, or to learn more, just visit pintochiropractic.com. They paid for today's segment, and we'll be right back.